critical role is one of the most commonly claimed criteria in extraordinary ability visas. But it's important to know that there's two steps to this. The first one is that your role was critical, but the second one is that it was at a distinguished organization. So what do those two things mean?
Yes, so two elements, critical role and critical role at organization of distinguished reputation. In terms of critical role, we look at the impact of your work to your organization, whether it's going to be a financial impact, whether you have a product that either you designed or you manage. Something, we look for things that basically will distinguish you from your peers in that organization. When it comes to the organization and the distinguished reputation for the organization, if you work for a large organization like Apple and Meta, Google, we don't really worry about that too much. The issues are usually with smaller organizations and startups. So the question here is, how do you show that a startup is an organization of distinguished reputation? And usually we look for evidence such as the type of clients the startup serves. Sometimes it could be the government, sometimes the agency within the government, whether they've been recognized in the media, their articles about the startup, whether they've raised money, and also whether they've been recognized by chambers of commerces and other professional organizations. So combine all that, we can establish that this startup is an organization of distinguished reputation.
Got it. Coming back to the role, how senior do you need to be?
So you don't have to be necessarily an executive or a director. You can be an individual contributor. Now, obviously, you do have to have a few years of experience in the field in order to show that your work is actually impactful to that employer. Sometimes, if you just graduated or you're 2 years in and you're one of the 500 developers for that company, that's not going to be necessarily a critical role. Now, obviously, if you're more senior than that, and you're responsible for developing the company's product or multiple products or methods, then we can establish that this role is actually critical.
How about timing the role? Like if I have had a very important role for like 2 months, can I show that? Or?
Unfortunately, that will be hard to show critical role in 2 months, and it just doesn't make sense for most of the time. If you just got a new job, usually you spend a month or two just onboarding, training, getting used to the new company. So I don't think that you will have such an impact to the company, to the company's operations, to the company financial outlook at this point. Now, if you're there for 8 months, 1 year, that's a different story. That now we can kind of claim critical role here.
Okay. And when you want to claim it, what type of documentation is it that you need?
The most important is letter of recommendation from the organization. It has to come from, preferably from senior leadership. Definitely not from your friends and colleagues and peers within the company. But most importantly, it has to be from somebody who is familiar with your work. And sometimes that's your direct manager, sometimes maybe it's their manager. What you don't want to do is get a letter from a VP or senior VP that they don't even know who you are. But you get that letter just because of the title. That might not be the best letter and the best recommender.
Got it. And what happens if it's an old job and my direct manager is no longer there? Like, can he still write the letter for me even if he's not in the organization anymore?
Yeah, that's fine. They can. They moved on. They're at another organization. As long as they were there when you were at the company, they can write a letter of recommendation. Just be aware that that letter is not going to be on a letterhead. Or a company letterhead, because now they work for a different organization that has nothing to do with you. But they can write a letter. Yes.
Perfect. Remember, for critical role, you need both things: to have had a critical role and at a distinguished organization.